Hello guys, the topic for today is poverty and hunger. The first question is, assess the impact of climate change on poverty in India. To alleviate the people from poverty, what strategies Indian government opted for? Elaborate. So we have to discuss about the impact of climate change on poverty. And also we have to talk about the measures taken by Indian government. The introduction can be World Bank's report, South Asia's hotspot. This is the report title. What it said, the impact of temperature and precipitation changes on living standard conclude that climate change could accentuate poverty and inequality in India. So due to climate change, the living standard of people can be affected and it can accentuate poverty and inequality also. And there is also a statistics given here. This cost India 2.8% of GDP and depressed living standard of half of the country's population by 2050. So by 2050, half of country's population can enter depressed living standard, and also this costs 2.8% of GDP. Now what is the impact of climate change on poverty? This will reduce, there is a decline in living standard, and this leads to decrease in agricultural yield, and it also affects the health. Central, northern and northwestern India are mostly vulnerable to climate change. Example, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh saw 9% decline in the living standards of people. So especially these areas, northern and central areas, are vulnerable to climate change and its impact. Then according to a study, that is Center for Economics, Environment and Society, climate change will not only increase the population living under poverty, but also aggravate conditions of those already in poverty. So it will increase the poverty and also aggravate the condition. Affects agricultural productivity, food prices, and it increases BPL, that is below poverty line, the rate of people living in it, and it will finally lead to rural poverty. This is one of the causes also. Worsen India's performance on social indices, like it hinders the achievement of SDG goals, etc. So these are the various impact of climate change on poverty. Now let us look into the government strategy in fighting poverty. High economic growth, that is 25.5% growth in PCI, that is per capita income. And in multidimensional poverty index, the rate of poverty reduced to half, that is 27.5% between 2006 to 16. In this 10 years, MPI ratio reduced half. This is one of the good step or measure. Social protection, 136 million job cards issued in MG Narega scheme alone. So there is also social protection at like job security, etc. Various jobs created in MG Narega. Access to basic facility like financial inclusion. Example, PMJDY, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. In this, 381 million new accounts were opened as of 2020. And health services like Ayushman Bharat, it covers nearly 500 million beneficiaries. And then housing facility, example, Housing for All program. These are the some of the programs to provide basic facility to people. And then livelihood opportunity and skill development. Example, we have Stand Up India scheme, Skill India, National Apprenticeship program, NRLM, NULM, that is National Urban Livelihood Mission. Proportion of women workers, it increased from 13% in 2012 to 21% in 2018. So these are the various positive things or strategies done by government. Now how can we conclude? India's underlying developmental strategy remains focused on reducing poverty, rising income and living standard of people. These are some of the developmental strategy. State is the dominant actor in this agenda. Efforts need to be complemented by civil society organization and private sectors also to achieve the SDG goal 1. This is how we can conclude. Thank you.